Hello, hello. Welcome back to Can We Talk? And I am Myra McKnight, your master relationship expert and coach. And I am so glad to be here with you today on this Friday. And I would like to welcome my guest into the studio, Miss CoCo Gayle. Hello, young
Hi,
lady.
Matt. How are
How are
you?
you?
I'm great, thank you. How about
Thank
yourself?
you. I appreciate you coming in and chatting with us a little bit today.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited and extremely humbled to be here.
Awesome, awesome. We're excited to have you here. Now, let me do this first. I talked a little bit about what you're doing, CoCo, but what I want you to do is tell our listening audience what you do. Talk a little bit about this phenomenal ministry that you have and how you just came out the box within the last year, and you're helping ladies and you're just spreading your strength to other women all across the world. So can you take a few minutes and let them know the name of your organization and what you do?
Okay, well, the name of my organization is Healed in Heels. That's HealedNheels. So that equates to being healed physically, emotionally, spiritually, and I still look good doing it. The purpose of Healed in Heels is to break generational strongholds, societal and self-inflicted wounds through the Word of God and the bonds of sisterhood. So often, women are faced with emotional, mental, physical traumas, and what we don't allow ourselves time to do is to heal. We just continue to show up. We're made up. We're dressed up. We're there. And we are hurting, we are broken, we are sad, we are despondent, we're angry, we're all of these variable emotions, but our face is beat to perfection, our clothes are on point, our hair is tight, our nails are done, but inside we are hurting, we are molding and mildewing because we haven't taken the time out to really get to the root of what's going on that's causing that pain. So Healed in Heels was created just about 11 months ago in theory. It actually has been an actual work in progress for the past 7 months, 7 to 8 months, because of the lack of an opportunity for women to be transparent about their pain.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay, that's a lot. That's a lot. You know, that's an amazing it's an amazing opportunity to be able to help women who are going through their pains. And the question that I would ask is, how do you get the ladies to open up to the pain that they are going through?
There's a scripture in Philippians that says, "To the weak I become weak to attract the weak, so that they may know that they can be saved." So the first thing that I do, Myra, is I let them know that I am a survivor of sexual assault. I am a survivor of domestic violence. Not only am I a survivor, I'm a victor. I have overcome it, and I don't allow those stigmas, that pain from those problems to continue to affect me. So what I do is I make sure that I tell these women my business. I give them the raw, uncut, nitty-gritty of what I've been through. And what it does is it allows women to see, well, wow, she's been through that too, and she overcame, and she is enduring. And not only is that, she is really making a difference, and it's not affecting her, and she has real joy. Well, let me tell her what I'm going through and see what she can do to help me or where she can direct me so that I can get that joy. So that's what I do, is I just make it relatable. I just get on their level because it's my level. I've been there and I've done that. And sometimes I still go back to some of that same pain because even though I'm healing from it, I'm healed in some areas, but some areas are still healing works in progress.
Okay, all right. Do you think that the women that go through the particular pains that you were talking about, the sexual abuse or the domestic violence, do you think that the only way that those women can be healed is if they are vocal to someone else about it?
I think in the degree of the person that you are. Everybody is not going to be as loud and vocal and transparent about their past issues, their transgressions, their own faults and broken places as I am. That takes, it took years for me to get to be as comfortable about my story as I am now.
Right.
So I won't say that it necessarily requires you to be vocal, but what I do believe it requires you to be is honest. And the first person you should be honest with is yourself. So
Absolutely.
if you know that you have been in a domestic violence relationship, don't continue to make excuses for that man. Be
Absolutely.
honest with yourself that you don't deserve to be abused. It doesn't matter what you said or didn't say or did or didn't do. You don't deserve that. If you have been sexually assaulted, whether it was by somebody that you were in a relationship with, by a complete and total stranger, or whether you were a little girl, there's nothing that you could have done to have warranted that type of abuse. You have to be honest with yourself and stop making excuses for the victimizers. I had to come up with that. I had to accept to forgive them, but I also had to be honest with myself that it doesn't matter what I did or didn't do. That brother didn't. He shouldn't have been mean to me. He shouldn't have hit me. He shouldn't have stolen from me or whatever he had done, because all those things is what he was doing. So it didn't matter what I was doing. It didn't matter what I was not doing. That when you had taken a vow to be my husband, for better or for worse, you shouldn't be inflicting the worst.
Great. And, and I agree. And the reason I ask you that, CoCo, is because, we have a lot of women that are listening today, and I want to make sure that we touch bases for every one of them. I don't want them to feel like, this is the only way that you can get healed. You know what I'm saying? Because some women are so, and it's not because I don't think that they don't want to talk about it. I think that that's just the environment that they've probably come up in, and it's hard for them. Some people are just really very private, and it's kind of difficult to. And so while you talking this, being here is amazing, because I know that there are women out there who are private and they go through their pain in their own particular way, but still knowing that you are out there to be, sometimes it just takes you to be the vocal person. You know what I'm saying? The other person. Sometimes it takes me. You agree with what I'm saying?
I do. It does take. Everybody has that one sister friend, or even an actual sister that they know will stick up for them, that's going to be the loud mouth, that's going to fight their battles, that's going to come in and say, let me tell you what you're not going to do. I've always been that friend. So I take pride in knowing that, I've got one of my best friends from high school. She is a feisty character, but for the most part, she's kind of soft-spoken. Well, I'm not really soft-spoken. So when I hear about somebody hurting her or being mean to her or whatever, I get offended, because I'm like, that's not going to work. So I do understand what you're saying. Everybody is not going to be vocal. Everybody's not going to be all about telling their business. And everybody's not going to be interested in doing that on a front and center stage. I believe that's just what God has given me to let other women know that you don't have to suffer in silence. You don't have to feel like you are the only person enduring, that we're the only people going through stuff. Especially in this age of social media. We get all of the best-looking pictures. We get all of these filters. We get all of, everybody's checking in the Bahamas and Las Vegas and New York. And so I'm thinking, I work this regular 9-to-5 job. I barely have enough money. This man is not good to me. I need to lose weight. I'm still harboring, daddy issues, all these variable things. And so what I think is I'm the only person, that I'm an island unto myself, that I'm the only person enduring this type of drama and foolishness, but it's not the case. All of us are going through something. It's just varying degrees of what you're going through. And so I feel like my ministry is about vocalness and transparency, so that the people who are meek and who are mild and who are quiet, they just get a little strength from knowing, okay, I'm not the only one. It's nothing wrong with me. It's not.
Absolutely.
You know
What? That's all that it takes is for you to realize you're not the only one. You're not the one on the island, and
Source Nation, stay tuned. We'll be right back. You're listening live to Can We Talk by Master Relationship Coach Myra McKnight.
Hello, Source Nation. Join us every Sunday night on Mailbox Sunday from 8 to 9 Eastern Standard Time for Practical Kingdom Living with me, your host, Pastor Kenny Smith. Tune in as I share principles designed to help build your relationship with God and others.
Welcome back, Source Nation. You're listening live to Can We Talk by Master Relationship Coach Myra McKnight.
Hey guys, we're back. I don't know what happened. I do apologize for that. This is Myra McKnight with Can We Talk, your Master Relationship Coach. And we were just going through a few things with CoCo about the women's ministry that she has. And we were talking about women that are hurting all over for a whole lot, a plethora of things, but she deals specifically those women that are, having some domestic violence, some things that happen in your lives at some point ago, and how you're dealing with them. And she was talking about how we can dress up and have our heels on and look all cute and all Beyonce-like and in pain. And, and that's just being real, and that's just being practical, because we've done that for so long till I think that it's kind of old news and old hat. And that's a habit that we do have to get out of. Would you agree, CoCo?
Absolutely. I think.
And one thing I wanted to talk about, and before I do this, hey, I want you guys to call in, get involved with this conversation, and let us know how you feel about this. Call us at 619-924-0933. 619-924-0933, and let's kind of chat about this. We want to get off the merry-go-round, so to speak. We want to stop feeling hurt and stop feeling depressed and stop feeling like we're alienated and stop acting as though the next lady next to you is better than you and the one in front of you and behind you is better than you. We gotta really think a little bit better about ourselves. When you dial that number, press 1. And then you are able to get in here and ask a question of CoCo tonight. So please give us a call at 619-924-0933. CoCo, what I'd like to ask you, because you did mention something about forgiveness.
Okay.
There are a lot of women that struggle with forgiveness, and the women that come into my office, they feel as though they've gotten over the issue. They're fine. They're good. And they no longer feel as though they offer or even that person deserves their forgiveness. And I know what people say, forgiveness is not for the person, the perpetrator, but it's for you. But
it's for you, yeah.
But I've had women to say, I'm good. I'm not hurting for what he did or what he said or who said what. I'm good, and my life speaks that. And they say, I don't owe him that amount of me to give him forgiveness. What do you say about that?
Wow. I say that they're not being honest. Anytime you still have an emotional answer to a situation, it's because you're still emotionally tied to it. When you can say, you know what, I forgive you. I mean, if you just need to hear it, whatever. I forgive you whether you want to hear it or not. I forgive you whether you receive it or not. That is a mature and unemotional situation. When you don't make decisions or when you don't have conversations out of emotion, when you use rationality, it's because it's a completely dead situation. Anytime your heart rate gets to bumping up high and your mouth get dry, you're still emotionally tied to it in some manner. And so in order for a person to say, I don't need to forgive anyone, that's awful, because we need God to forgive us. We have sinned and come short of the glory of God in every. I'm just gonna speak for me. I won't say we, because I don't speak French. I'm gonna say me. I know that I have sinned and fallen short. I do all kinds of stuff that would not be pleasing in God's sight, by thought, word, or deed. It doesn't matter. So if somebody wronged me, I don't owe it to them to forgive them. I owe it to what I'm trying to get from God. I want God to forgive me, so I'm going to forgive you. And then when I truly forgive you, I forget about it. So if you hurt me again, or if you harm me again, it's almost as though it never happened, because I've got to pretend like you've never done it to me. I've got to act as though it has not occurred. That's not for you, though. That's for me.
Yeah, and just to be practical, because I know there's a lot of women out that, and even in what I do, and the ladies that I work with, when someone hits you, that's hard to forget. If someone cheats on you, if someone cheats on you repeatedly, that's hard to forget. So I don't know how you like the genie and you blink your eyes and you don't think about it anymore. And I know the Bible says that forgiveness is, the 7 times 7. I know that part of it. But just speaking, just giving a voice
realistic
to the ladies that are out here being real, that some ladies are able to walk in their heels and really be healed by not giving and not putting the equation of what God might think, but of what they've gone through. They've kind of taken it to where it becomes a pimple in their mind, to where it doesn't resonate any longer. And I get what you're saying, but for those other ones that are out there, I want them to, they've healed in a different kind of way, I would assume. And, I know that through what we've gone through in our lives and the privacy of people and the things that have happened and the times that they've seen. And sometimes I think some women have seen some things that we couldn't even begin to imagine that they've had to go through. And I know women before me, back in the ages, have gone through some extremely difficult times, even in relationships, and we've come from some cultures to where you were, you didn't know who your dad was, and those kind of things. So people have been hurt, tremendously hurt, and I just kind of wonder back in the day how they were able to survive some of that stuff and keep going. But what you have and what you're saying is to blow it out there, just walk with it, talk with it, release it.
What I'm saying is, holding on to it does you what good? It doesn't do you any good. And when you're so busy holding on to things, now look, this is what if a person is beating on you and you're tired of being beat on, then you need to be making strategic situations. Because not everybody don't have a job where they got hundreds of thousands of dollars stacked up. When I left my abusive situation, the first abusive situation, because if I wasn't ready to be healed, I attracted the same kind of wolf that was was smelling the blood from the first wound. So when I left my first situation, I left with $30 and 2 children, no car, and no place to live. But I had
Well, let me
trust.
ask you something, CoCo. Let me ask you something. I was just with a lady yesterday, and she had gone through domestic violence prior, and the husband she married now is prior. What happens that you go back into that? And her reason was that she felt as though he was hitting her. She felt it was love. So, I've never been a part of that culture at all. So, but what makes a person go back into another abusive relationship?
Like spirits find each other, Myra. It's the truth. And so
okay.
I was connected to two men that were completely different from each other in every facet of the word. One, a college educated man, one somebody with a GED, one person that grew up in a two-parent household, one person that grew up in a single-parent household, one person that, had all these goals and dreams and aspirations, but they both had the same type of spirit. So let me tell you, what happens is I got set up for abuse as a child.
Okay.
My father and my mother weren't married. He was not a dependable father. That's not a new story to anybody, but it's my story, right? So what I learned is to not be able to really emotionally to be able to depend on a man. Now, my mother's never been in a domestic violence situation, so I can't use the cliche that I grew up in a household with domestic violence because my mama don't play that. So what I did was some kind of way set myself up. I had been sexually assaulted as a child, and so I had developed a spirit to receive abuse because I had been abused from the beginning. So when I first met the man who I would marry and bear his children, he didn't start off being mean or abusive. But what I did not recognize were the signs of narcissism. So he was controlling. He was he liked to keep me all to himself. He liked to wrap me up, and I thought at that time that it was love, but what it was control. When I finally, after 2 years and 7 years of 2 children and 7 years of marriage, got away from him, I got into another relationship with somebody who did not look, sound, or mimic anything like what I had come from. But because there were some other underlying issues that I thought that I could control, I found myself back in a situation where when you can't get your way with me, now you began to get physical. So what I did, because, again, I could not just up and leave, I had to make a conscientious plan that I'm getting ready to get out of this. I started looking for houses. I started looking for places to live where me and my children could be protected. I started sliding my money away. But I had a plan. I knew that I wasn't any longer in what I had been dealing with and putting up with, but because I had a plan and there was no more emotion connected to it. Whenever I was emotional, he could pull me back in with my emotions. Whenever I throw your stuff out and cuss you out and scream and holler and cry and my eyes all swole up and call your phone and text you or do this back and forth with you, my emotions were still attached to you, so you could emotionally control me, which is also abuse. Once I no longer allowed you to be able to emotionally control me, my rational thinking came to forefront. That didn't mean that I didn't still cook dinner for my husband, that I didn't pretend like I wasn't upset. That didn't mean that we still didn't get into tough. That didn't mean that we didn't go to church and raise the kids. It just means that in the back of my mind, I'm working on an escape plan. That's what I'm saying. So even though I was connected to two different men, I was not seeking, for abuse because I didn't grow up in an abusive situation in the clinical sense of abuse. But I had been abused previously.
Okay. Wow. You're listening to Can We Talk with your master relationship host, Myra McKnight, and I have my wonderful guest here, CoCo Gayle, and she's talking about some things that are very important in our lives today as women. And actually it's practical and it is real. We have a tendency to hide a lot. And on various issues and on various occasions, we have a tendency to talk about not talk about how we hurt and how we actually feel. And I do know that some women out there have been there, done that, and come through that. And like for you to kind of maybe share that with us and ask CoCo any questions that you might have. Our number is 619-924-0933. And if you will press 1, you'll be able to come into the studio with us and ask us any questions that you might have. Now, CoCo, my question is, and I know that you can't escape stuff. Some things sometimes are bad choices, and we've made them, we learn from them, but even though we learn from those bad mistakes and we try to create a healthier relationship for ourselves as women, sometimes you just run into stuff. And,
you're right.
My next question, what do you tell the ladies that you work with when it comes to a point, okay, this is where we are. The ladies that I work with, I say, this is where we are. Okay, we've had this time to have this pity party. You're no longer a victim. Now we need to move on into a different realm. What do you tell them? How do you help those ladies not get back to where you have helped them just become delivered from? How do you help them not to get back into that unhealthy choice making when it comes to relationships?
We have the same conversation, Myra, because I give them 3 days. You got 3 days. You got 3 days to wallow and cry and fall all out. After that third day, you have to get up and go on.
You give them 3 days, I give them 1, so that's good. I give them 1 day. I can't stand there wilding and crying for no 3 days. I'm going to give you one good day. And after that, baby, you got to get up and move.
You got to get on up.
You got to get past it.
I make them say out loud what they're leaving. Say it out loud.
Okay. Don't
mull it over in your head. Say, okay, I'm leaving a man who cheats on me and exposes me to sexually transmitted diseases. I'm leaving a man who has had 2 outside children on me. I'm leaving a man who punches me in my face, but then expects me to make love to him tonight. I'm leaving. You see what I'm saying? To say that out loud.
I got you. I do understand, and everything you're saying is exactly true. I see it every day. It's exactly true. But I think that women are so emotional that I think our biggest problem is we do not know how to manage our emotions, and they can really put us in a situation as if we're on a roller coaster ride that's never ending. And it to the normal person, you would think that it shouldn't take much for you to say I'm out when you hit me. It shouldn't take much to say I'm out when you make me feel less than who I am. Shouldn't take that much. God knows if we tell our men some of the things that some of the men tell us, then they would have been gone. But for some reason, women feel obligated to hold on to that because sometimes it's just real, CoCo, that sometimes women just think it's going to get better. And I hear that a lot, that some women just figure, and sometimes they're told, just to be real, they're told now. They're told by their parents, they're told by the church, they're told by the girlfriend, will just hang in there, stick in there. He's a good man, he works every day. Why would you leave them? Excuse me? So I think we've created a culture against women to stay in relationships that are unhealthy. Be it not one of the things that they might say, well, he doesn't hit you. He doesn't hit me, but he doesn't treat me like I should be treated either. And if we are to be true, what the Bible says, that you are beautiful and wonderfully made. And I don't think God will make us beautiful and wonderfully made to get slapped on and treated any kind of way. So that just don't work for me by no equation. But I think that we have built a culture of women of obligation and a culture of men of entitlement, and that breeds for a relationship that begins to be volatile. because the men feel entitled to do what they choose to do towards women, and women feel obligated to understand that. So helping women to understand how you don't get into this space, and I think is most beneficial. And you were saying that you give them 3 days and you have them speak out loud, and that's great because they have to say that from the depths of their own being, that this is not working for me, and be okay with that.
You're absolutely right. You have to know, but you have to know your worth, and you can't expect anybody else to tell you your worth. You can't expect anybody else to build you up to the worth that you claim. Feel like you're worthy. You have to go into it knowing that you're worthy. And when somebody comes to shift your worth or to discount your worth, you can tell them, no, I know my worth, and either you're going to step up or you're going to step off. I think a lot of us don't have our own self-worth already evaluated before we get into relationships. We're looking for relationships to complete us. We're looking for relationships to make us whole. But you've got to be whole before you get into a relationship.
And, and to piggyback off of that, what I have found is that women are afraid to tell men what they want. They're actually
You're
afraid.
Right.
They're afraid to tell them because they think that they're not going to like what they say, and they probably will never call them back again. But you know what? That's one call you don't need. And it goes back to also what you said, that you have to know you. You have to know who you are. And I was telling a friend of mine the other day, and this is not to take away from any of the men that write the books for us, but there's a lot of men that write books for us to tell us what we need to do and how we need to change, and we need to alter ourselves, and we need to, if we want them, we need to do this. And I think that's the craziest thing, because a man really don't know what a woman wants. And women are chasing after the men to find out what they want, but they need to chase after themselves to find out what they want. Because what's most important is that woman. That woman has to be able to love, to do all those things that a woman committed in a relationship, whether she's a wife or whatever, she has to be able to do those. And there's 5 things that a man needs, and this is not a brain science at all, is a shelter. He needs to have shelter. A man, he wants shelter. He wants a beautiful woman. He wants to be able to make money for security for himself and for his family. If he needs that, a man wants to eat and a man wants to have sex. Those are 5 things. There's not too much more that they really need. And when women understand, that's kind of the barometer of a man. Now, those outside things, whether he's doing a job or things of that nature, but for the most part, those are things that men just like, I'm good. They come into my office all the time, and when they come to my office, I tell my husband and I, we're good. If I got that, they're not concerned about what we need. And if, as a woman, if you don't know what you need, he surely doesn't know what you need. So rather than chasing after finding out what a man wants in a woman, you must find out what you want from him. So that way your boundaries are set. And when you get into that relationship and he's not doing those things that you have set a boundary for yourself, then you have to keep moving. Because if you don't keep moving, you're going to be caught in a trap and you're going to be unhappy, and all hell will break loose in your relationship at some point. And you are absolutely correct, CoCo, when you're saying you got to know your worth.
That's right.
And if women don't know their worth, you can't tell him what you're worthy of. And men can tell when you don't have confidence in yourself.
True. You're absolutely right. They hunt you down like dogs. They can smell the pity. They can smell the low self-esteem. Can smell it. They are attracted to it because that's how women get out of one relationship with a doggish individual into a relationship with another doggish individual.
Yeah, absolutely. And now this is, and I tell ladies all the time, which I'm real adamant about, and I don't know if you tell that to your ladies, when you've been in a relationship that has been unhealthy, whether it's abusive, whether he cheated on you or what have you, what you don't do is tell the next person. You never tell the next man the victimhood of what you just came out of, because you have already set that relationship up for failure. When you go and you like, oh, woe is me, and, well, he's going to ask, well, that's a man's trick. He's going to ask you, why did you all break up? Well, he cheated on me, and, well, he didn't do this and he didn't do that. You have set yourself up, because this man knows right now you are a victim. You're holding on to it, and the minute something happens, what is he going to tell you? I'm not that guy. He did it to you. So to prevent yourself from going through that stuff, ladies, hold on to your own business. You are not obligated to tell him what just happened in the last relationship, especially if it wasn't something that was healthy. That's not what you're supposed to do. Men don't like whiners. Men want women who are confident in who they are, and that's what's extremely important. So what you're doing, CoCo, is a great ministry. It's a great ministry. It's a great opportunity for women of all. I mean, this has just been my thing for the last 20 years of what you're doing, is to tell women from 14 to 99 that you are worth every good thing that comes to you. And you shouldn't allow a man to call you out of your name, to treat you any kind of way, to disrespect you, because that is not what you were created for at all. And so what you're doing is enhancement to women everywhere. And I think you said that you work with women of all ages.
I do.
Good.
From teenagers on the way up, as old as you can be. Because if you have that pain and that brokenness, you've probably been carrying it since you were a teenager, if not younger.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it is best to be get that confidence back so you can burst out of that and become the new you. I started a new kind of a group called Today's Game Changers, and it's about women coming full circle. And it's difficult to come full circle if you're stuck in a relationship that is unhealthy, or you're stuck in a mindset where you can't go any further. You have to be able to move from where you are to come full circle for where God has you to go.
You are right.
Because you sure can't go nowhere, ladies, if you're stuck on what this man has done and what he's doing, and you're riding around with a flashlight in the daylight, and you're checking his phone, and come on. You can't get anywhere that way, and he knows that. So, those are some crazy things that go on, and I'm telling you, what you've done, CoCo, you've opened up a whole atmosphere of what women need. And you have specific women out there that I do know that God has for you to touch, and because of your strength and your voice, and you're able to articulate that to ladies, they're going to catch it. And that's really important that you're able to do that for them on the level that you do. How would ladies be able to get a hold of you, CoCo, if they want to come and talk to you about their situation and how they can get out of it?
I am on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Healed in Heels. And you can go to my website, www.healedinheels.com. You can send a contact. There's a contact me tab where you can reach out and get to me. You can email me. My phone number is there. I am available.
Wow. Great. Well, you know what? I have enjoyed you, CoCo, for coming into the studio and having this great conversation with us, and I really hope that all those endeavors and all the things you're doing are coming to fruition, and you're touching lives all over the world, everywhere, and hope that one day when you're not too busy, you have a book too, don't you?
I am working on a book.
Okay.
I had a book project and it got sidetracked, so I have my own book coming out, and it's called Being Pregnant with Purpose. So it should be out right at the end of the spring.
Okay.
And it'll be available on my website.
Well, that's something for us to look forward to. And once that's done, I would love to have you come back on the show to talk about your book as well.
Awesome. Thank you. I'd love to do it.
Okay, awesome. I'm quite sure you'll have some more great, amazing testimonial stories to give us as well. We appreciate you coming in and talking with us on Can We Talk, and I'm quite sure our listening audience have gotten something from that, and you're probably going to get many calls.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited, and again, very humble that you would ask me to be on.
Thank you again, CoCo. You have a great evening, and we will see you soon.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.